On today's episode, we will be reviewing the much talked about Bollywood film, Mrs. Why is it causing such an uproar and stir? This is all exciting
It has
stuff.
some substance. Hi everyone, welcome to TalktousToday. On today's episode, we will be discussing the most talked about movie of today in India, especially Mrs., which is released on Z5 last month. It is a Hindi remake of Joe Baby's Malayalam film The Great Indian Kitchen. It is directed by Aarti Kadav and stars Sanya Malhotra. This movie is really something. It tells the story of a newlywed woman who has to navigate regressive patriarchal traditions.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so I watched this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, I'm hearing so much about this. Let's watch it. Let's watch it." And my husband, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes into the movie, he turns to me and he goes, "What are we watching?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, what are we watching?" And he's like, No, this is depressing. And I said, "This is real." And he couldn't understand it. I'm like, "No, honestly, this is real." And this movie takes us through. It's a really quiet film. If you think about it, it's not.
Yeah,
really
and it's a bit
There's
slow.
no dialogue. It's slow. There's no dialogue. There's very less dialogue.
Yeah.
And it moves at a slow pace, and it's so monotonous, right?
Yeah.
And all this makes you realize the suffocation. What is going on, right? And I started, like, once I watched it, and my husband was ready to quit, and I'm like, no, we gotta watch this. What happens? Let's wait for the Sita Gita part. She's gonna but it wasn't anything like massive like that. It was very simply put.
It was not predictive. The ending was not predictive.
Yeah.
The way we have it, like, in typical Indian movies, it was not predictive. Simrit, with this movie, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the way it has been made, it looks like it's just kitchen, and kitchen, right? A woman's life is just in the kitchen. That's it. Right.
Okay, so before we dive into what this movie is about, let's also talk about, like, this film now has come under the scanner of leading men's rights, Save Indian Family Foundation, SFF. Okay,
No.
leading men's rights group. And what they talk about is, like, we're talking about the feminist group, we're talking about the abuse of women, but what about men, and what about children, and what about the marginalized minorities? Why is because we're talking about one issue, why are you guys getting the reason it hits home to millions of homes in India? It hits home to millions of men in India whose patriarchy thought is being challenged by this movie. Okay?
Yeah.
Now you're talking about this movie.
For them, there's no problem with the movie, right? It's, in the sense, not the movie, but the act of the men and the way the women is living the life. No problem. It's normal. What's big deal? Why
are we challenging the role?
Exactly. What you making it so feminist? That is the thought. Why are you making it so feminist? It's so normal. It's been ages, it's been centuries that women has been living this role without any problem. And now all of a sudden you call yourself feminist, and you started raising questions about this lifestyle, which they have been living.
Absolutely. So let's dive into what is this movie about. This movie is about an aspiring dancer, Sanya Malhotra, who has an arranged marriage. This guy's a doctor, no less. Okay, so educated guy, good looking, like whatever, traditional. They get married. She comes to a home. Bade achhe hain. All that stuff is happening. So she comes and then what happens? She gets into this role of what a good wife is, which means she's got to get up in the morning, make some breakfast, clean the house, send her husband off, get ready for lunch. She has to follow her mother-in-law's routines. She has to be scrutinized by the mother-in-law that, oh, you're eating out of the plate. No, that we don't allow you to, like, how we try food. Don't try food out of this. And this is all really common in it, because whatever rules you are getting married into, people are not wanting to change that. Oh, there's the younger generation. They feel that if we do that once, twice, it'll mean that this is the end of our family as we know it. There's so much stubbornness related to this. Then in the evening, the husband comes. Again, it's all about serving him, serving the family, sitting down, making sure garam chapati hone chahiye.
And this is roti, we want fulka. I'm like, what? Right?
Yeah, this is real. And then
Yeah.
they go back and forth, and then they gotta clean. And then at night, of course, your job is to make a baby. So there's sexual oppression there. There's no discussion on that. Oh, she's tired. She said, I'm tired. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? She says the beautiful line in that
Yeah.
where she says, I smell, like, how do you want, like, I sweat, I smell of sabzi. And he's like, oh, this is the sexiest smell ever. And then in the end, like close to the end, when she goes, why don't you think of my needs? Have you ever like tried to do some foreplay? What about my, like, raising? First of all, of course, like, oh,
Yeah.
tujhe to bahut pata hai iske baare mein. First of all, first thing to do, character assassination of the woman. Secondly, turning about turn and saying, oh, you smell like a sabzi anyways. Who's going to want to sleep with you? Look at this.
Simrit, there is one scene where they go for dinner to her friend's place, where they are mutually sharing their responsibilities, serving, picking up the plates, cleaning the table, and whereas like he pretends to be like, oh, I'll take it, and because she was drunk, she blurted out, oh, you want everything in your hand, everything right there. Oh, you're doing this. I'm surprised. Oh, you're doing acting. It's like you're teasing, like it's a fun teasing and happening, and all of a sudden, and then later on, then this guy tried to tell her, oh, you think and she said one line that, oh, I am like a slave wife he is married to. Like, do you think I married you like as a slave wife to do my job? Do you think like that? This is all you think about me? That guilt trip. Do you see the guilt trip she was being sent to? Oh God. And then she has to
And tell me, what's wrong? You and me, we're in, like, this is what bothers me. I mean, I can relate to what they said, not because I've personally dealt with it, because I wouldn't be in a marriage, but I've been given that freedom. I have privilege.
Yeah.
You have privilege. But you've seen this happen in the past, right? I've seen it in certain families that I know.
I also have seen it in families.
And you've seen
yes.
it. So when we're partners now with our husbands and wives, a doctor in modern India should not get so insulted when she says, घर में तो काम नहीं करता अब यहाँ कर रहा है. What is wrong? She's being playful. Forget that she's drunk a little bit. She's being playful with him. And oh no, even if that was allowed, she would be, maybe a little happier that the pressure cooker is not being built over and over again. Like the pressure is not being built over and over again.
And surprisingly, Simrit, the father-in-law was also a doctor, right? And I mean, it's a middle class setup. I get that. And then taunting, oh, your mother-in-law was a PhD.
Yes.
She has.
And that was the icing on the cake in this movie, right?
Exactly. And she is doing
took pride. She was a PhD. She gave it up to come. And, and I have so many people that I know, friends as well, who are very proud of being male chauvinists. But even in that garb, at least in my circles, they're helping out. They're doing their bit. They really, and then when she asks for help, they can afford it. No. When she asks for a plumber to come do it, no. And then the relatives find it okay for them to come and discuss and tell her off, like tane dena, right? To tell her that, oh, this must be your fault if this pipe is not. Tumhe yaad dilana chahiye. Why should he have to remember this? It's beyond suffocating. It's not suffocating. It's beyond suffocating. Like there's no discussion. Casual misogyny. Very toxic relationship, very toxic environment, because bol hi nahi sak rahi. And I heard of this survey that said that women in their 40s are leaving their husband because they think they can do better, and they have menopause problems and stuff. And that's not the fact. The fact of the matter is that at 40 they've realized things are not getting better. I'm getting older. I don't want to deal with this for the next 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
Or 30, whatever. I'm just done. And so they take a step. It's not because of their hormones. It's because they're getting free of the burden of dealing with what people think. Sometimes the parents are gone and they're like, okay, I'm done. She tries to talk to her mom and she's like, wo to seekhna hi padega. Oh, and no matter what you cook, it's not good enough.
Exactly.
It's not good enough.
Even when she went back to her home, and she herself in such a bad situation, and her mother is telling her, okay, have potter and give it to your brother also. Like, really?
And then I find that when we are, I mean, luckily, I think all of us who are in my inner circle, I changed that, and things are changing in around me at least, I cannot say India because I don't know, but so many times if there's a boy and girl and "Ut ke bhai ko pani de de," and I'll be like, what about your son? Can he get up and give it to us too? And it happens a lot. And actually, this movie really reminded me of my cousin who was married to a doctor in UK, an Indian guy, and she left that marriage because I'm sure there was so much. She had to wake up early morning and 2 hours before he went to work. She had to make the paranthas, no cereal, no toast. She had to make it. She has to do. It was. It becomes suffocating day in and day out. It does.
I don't know, Sibrit, in India, especially this kind of this whole patriarchal domination when it comes to, okay, after you get married, okay, maybe these Indians, they go abroad, they do all their chores themselves, they are all independent, doing everything, and the moment the wife comes in, everything is wife's responsibility. Like they've forgotten to take out their clothes, do this and that. Now, wo kare, everything.
Ah, I mean, how have you not learned how to make a cup of tea in the morning? And anyone who does, what does society say?
Huh?
Choru ka gulam hai ye to.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Again,
these are such important, subtle. It's a very quiet movie. It's a slow movie. You do not want to watch it because it has no masala, and the ending also is one direct push. I'm done. She just walks out. She's
and
just done.
Simrit, and
Urbanization
okay.
versus rural places is still different. Like
Yeah,
the bigger cities are different. The smaller cities, I like. When we go to the village, I see the same behavior patterns. But what I do see as a difference is the sons who live in bigger cities. They come back and try to put a stop. Like, no, we can do this. Like many times, and many times they don't because they grew up with that and they don't see any difference.
yeah. It's all about evolving with time. So yeah, so
Great
some have
word.
evolved, some need to evolve. I think evolving is the best word, which fits everywhere, which in every problem that we have right now. I think if we learn to evolve with time, I don't think that there'll be any problem.
And evolving does not mean westernization, people. I'm not saying there's so many
Exactly.
good things to pick up around the world. Evolving does not mean that.
Yeah.
Let's teach
So
our sons to be better.
yes,
Let's
sons to be
let's
better.
teach our
Yes,
sons
that's
from now.
that is another angle we should actually highlight here.
Yeah.
Sons to be better, teach them to be a good partner, be it
Oh, and
the sister
learn
or
how
the
to do
mother.
everything. Break those gender rules. Cooking, cleaning,
Exactly. Yeah.
housework is not for girls. And I think I've spoken about this time and time again. Mothers of boys, stop the boy syndrome.
Boy syndrome. Yeah.
So that's all on Talk to Us today. Please tell us what you thought of the movie, or if there's anything else you guys want us to review, please let us know. Email us at hello@talktoustoday.com or comment in the comment section below.
Yeah.
And let your friends know where to find us.
Yeah. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to stay notified of our new videos every Friday at 5 p.m. Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us today. Remember to talk about Talk to Us today. Keep smiling.
Keep laughing.
Yeah. Most
And
importantly,
keep talking.
talking.
Talking is important. See you
Yeah.
guys next Friday. Thank you for joining us. Bye.